Hi there. Welcome to Play Tennis Practice Yoga. My name is Margit Bannon. I teach both tennis and yoga. And today we're going to be using the Slinger Bag Ball Machine to help you work on your forehand drop shot. If you don't have a ball machine available to you, this can also be practiced with a willing partner, someone who's willing to toss you a couple balls over the net to work on your touch. Working on your touch is so important, just as important as that power. We need to balance all of that power out. Ideally, you have both in your game. So if you find this video helpful, I would love for you to check out our other videos on our channel, including another one that I have with the Slinger Bag Ball Machine called Sling It Down the Line and working on your backhand down the line. And please subscribe to our channel. We release videos once a week on Tuesdays, Yoga for Tennis Tuesdays, where we have practices both on court and on the mat. Okay, so with that said, we'll be making the yoga for tennis connection today in a couple of ways. We're going to work on the awareness of what's happening with this racket head. So if you've been working on your forehand volleys, maybe in some of those volley challenges, the volley and the drop shot go hand in hand because they have a lot of similarities. One can help improve the other. So one thing that's ideal is to work on that continental grip. So you might look that up if you're not quite sure what that is. And we're working with this positioning where the racket head is slightly open. That's going to help us apply the backspin. Of course, we don't want a big backswing, just like our volleys. And it's a very short stroke. As we apply that backspin, you'll see how little I'm moving the racket. So there's a coming down and an opening up of the racket head component that you'll see me do in a few moments. So you're trying to be aware of your racket positioning. You're working with the feeling of the stroke and applying the backspin. And so again, you can't hit it hard. You have to get that feel. We're really going to be using the pace of the incoming ball and absorbing that pace. And then finally, we want to have an intention of where we want the ball to go. So I'm hoping that you can see at least somewhat. You might be able to see a little bit better if you're watching this on your smart TV. I have some target areas set up, marking off the top third of the service box, because you really want this ball bouncing 3-4 times so that it's effective. You might start off with 2 bounces if this is a new stroke to you. But we want that shot to be effective. We want that ball to bounce short in the box and maybe even bounce away from your opponent a bit. That's where that backspin comes in handy. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and work on this a little bit so that you get a feel for what you might work on. I'll also mark off in the comment section how I have the Slinger Ball Machine set up, so what dial numbers I have those on so that you don't have to figure that out for yourself. As you can see, I have it just over the net and slightly angled. I'm working with the deuce court today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use my remote control to get this started. It might take a moment. And so I'm just going to position myself here behind the service line and get my feet moving. I'm going to make sure I have that continental grip, also known as the hammer grip. So if you're used to Eastern grip, it would be one notch over to the left with that right hand. So I'm moving my feet. I'm waiting for that ball. And like a volley, I'm going to see how early I can take this ball out in front of me. So as I turn, I'm simply opening up the racket face. And the energy of the stroke is led with my hand or the handle of the racket. So if I have the intention of hitting directly out in front of me here to begin, I turn my body, and as I turn my body, I'm opening up that racket face at the same time. And hopefully you can see how little I'm moving my racket. So I'm taking the pace of the incoming ball. I'm also bending my knees to get down to absorb the pace of the ball. And I'm also noticing where my ball is landing. Is it bouncing 3-4 times inside the box? And if I'm successful, I might change and go cross court. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Some of you might find the cross court a little bit easier. And ideally, we keep the ball down somewhat, which is tough because you have to balance out missing in the net and keeping that ball low. So it's all about feel, opening up that racket head, not overdoing. A teacher I used to work with, she used to say bump the ball, and I really like that analogy. So I'm just going to do a couple more. It's a shot that needs to be practiced for sure. All right, so I think you get the idea. I'm going to stop the ball machine here. Hopefully I did that the right way. And so there you have it. There's a forehand drop shot. We're using backspin, that continental grip, holding that racket like a hammer. You might explore that a little bit more if that's not something that you're used to. That's a little more ideal for not only your drop shots, your slice, but your volleys. And so it's something that needs to be practiced like everything else. You do it in practice, then you get a little more confident in your play. Maybe you work with your Slinger Bag Ball Machine. Maybe you have a ball machine at your club. Maybe you just have a willing partner at home who can toss you some balls. The good thing about this stroke is that you don't have to have a large area to work with. Maybe you just have a little patch of concrete where you can have someone toss you the ball. Maybe you work with a bucket, trying to hit a ball in a bucket. I've seen some really nice videos in doing some of these types of things lately. So if you find this helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to our channel and check out our other yoga for tennis videos on court and on the mat, making the connection between the two. And I hope to see you soon. Happy practicing in the meantime.